Hi, everyone, and thank you for watching the East Village Queer Film Festival presented by Wild Project. You just finished watching our short film program, A Look Outside, the queer experience across the globe. My name is Sean Leviashvili, and I'll be moderating the Q&A with a couple of tonight's filmmakers. I'm very happy to be joined by Naudis Sager, director, writer, and producer of 1-1, Miat No, co-director and writer of Love Bites, and Charles Dudoyon Valade, director and writer of So Long Paris. So, first and foremost, can everyone sort of just introduce themselves by name and tell me where you're from and what your film is? Let's start with you, Charles.
So I'm Charles. I directed and I've written So Long Paris, and it's the film you saw about the preteen who has a very hard time accepting her parents' divorce, and who ends up accepting it by meeting by accident her dad's male lover.
Excellent. And Miat?
Hi, yes, everyone. My name is Miat. I'm a co-director of Love Bites, and my co-director Yupar. She is not available, so can't join us tonight. My film is about two ladies who basically got stuck together in the same room during the COVID-19 outbreak, when they have to enter government-sanctioned, government-mandated quarantine in a hotel room, and then their relationship kind of blossoms during this time period.
Excellent. And you're from Burma, correct?
That's right, yes.
And the film takes place where?
Well, it takes place in Burma as well. Yeah.
Okay. And the people that are traveling into Burma, the characters in the film, they're from another country, correct?
They are two Burmese ladies who came back from Singapore.
Excellent. Okay, got it. And Naudis, tell us your film and where you're from again, please.
So my name is Naudis Sager. I'm a filmmaker here in Sweden. I was born in Bulgaria. I have Iraqi parents. And I'm creating films here from Sweden. The film I made is called 1-1, and it's a sexy love story, a comedy between an Arab queer guy and a Swedish guy. So we get to see their first encounter, and yeah, it's a cute little night.
It was. All the films were absolutely excellent, and it's amazing that we have films from France, from Burma, and from Sweden. I want to ask everybody, what motivated you to create this film? Why did you make it? And we can start maybe with Naudis.
Okay. So basically, everything I write is taken from my own life. I write based on different experiences I've had, and this prank that we get to see in this film is based on a prank I did with some friends. Yeah, that's how most of my films are created, just by me taking different bits and pieces from my life and puzzling them together and packaging them into something sexy and cool.
And Miat, what about you? What was the source of inspiration?
Well, source of inspiration is the COVID-19, really. Like I was saying, when you enter Burma from another country, you are supposed to enter into quarantine for 3 weeks. That was back in July. I basically started my idea upon this, situation. And then I kind of want to do something that is kind of, that explores, a human relationship when you are stuck in this kind of situation. So yeah, I guess that would be my inspiration.
And is that really how the quarantine is done in your country? Like they're put maybe with strangers in hotel rooms?
Well, surely you have a choice if you can pay. then you can go into the hotel. But if you cannot pay, then you will be sent to some sort of government facility in which, you know, the accommodations are kind of like a dormitory style.
Okay.
And well, of course, you know, I take a little bit of creative liberty. I don't think they will put you with a stranger in a hotel room for 3 weeks. So I have to come up with a situation in which the two ladies are kind of sort of, you know, need to share a room. So I don't want to give too much away, but if you have seen the movie, you know what the situation is.
Absolutely. And Charles, what about you? This is a very unique story, and I feel like what was amazing about it was a coming out story, but not the kind you usually see. It was about an older man who had already started a family with a woman. So what motivated you to create this film?
It's pretty easy. The first reason why I shot this movie is because of my husband, who's a production director. I'm not director. How do you say that? A production manager in the movies, and he had seen the documentaries I shot, and he had read the scripts I had written, and he said that he told me that I had to shoot a short length movie. So I obeyed, basically, which is not what I'm always doing, but this time that's what I did. And so first I thought of the set. Paris was easy. Then I thought of the character. So a preteen. I have two daughters that are hilarious, that I loved watching grow up. And then I remembered something extremely spectacular I attended, which was the moment, this very, very precise moment where they accepted that their parents were divorced. Mm-hmm. It was something that struck me. And I was sure of this truth, of this dramatic truth. So I wanted to recreate that, but that's where the biography stops, because the father does not look like me. I mean, and actually it was pretty tricky, because it was when I wrote the first draft. It was not at all the problem. The father didn't have any problem with the explaining their kids or his kids what was happening. Mm-hmm. But it was much better as a story to go with this problem for this character. Actually, so it was very funny during the shooting, because everyone was extremely discreet. And most of the technicians and even the actors thought I was telling my story. Mm-hmm. And actually, if I have a point of view in the story, is the point of view of Dom, the lover, I mean Lucy's dad's lover, for whom everything has to be said. I mean, you have to protect the kids, but not overprotect them, and you have to find a way to tell the truth, basically.
Yeah, because that was sort of Lucy's quest and hunger. She really, you know, you felt that she was struggling to deal with this divorce, but she also was struggling to deal with all the lies that existed in adulthood. You could
absolutely
pick up on that.
Absolutely, yeah.
Question about Lucy, because I found her to be an interesting character. Especially like sort of who she was, because when I first saw this film and I saw this adorable kid sort of dressed in like a gender non-conforming way, like she kind of likes wearing boy clothes, like I was wondering, was that a choice, or is this more who she is, or did you write the character that way?
No, that's exactly who she is. I have been looking for the actress for a very, very long time, actually, almost more than a year, almost 2 years. And at the end, I realized that she was right in front of me. She's the daughter of the actress who plays Rachel, the cafe owner, the red hair woman, and she was cast from the very beginning. I had written the role for her, and she never reminded us that she had a daughter that could play the part. So when I realized that she was the one, it was sure. And she always had Lucy, because it's her real name in real life. She is boyish like that, and it's so not a problem to her. I mean, she always has been like that. That I found it extremely interesting it was adding another level to the character. It's really something we liked a lot. So of course, yes, we have been working on the costumes for that. You're right. The trousers that can look like a dress from time to time. You're not sure. And she's some kind of a rocker. When I told my youngest daughter Eve if Lucy would do good, Eve answered, well, she's a bit of a shy girl, but on the other hand, when she plays rock and roll with her band, she's completely wild. So this mixture of being shy and being wild and being, eccentric, like inventing stories all the time, that it was the perfect mix.
Yeah, no, I thought it was excellent. She was a great character.
Thank you.
Everyone was. Miat, so your story is obviously inspired by the quarantine. So I want to ask the question of how were you able to film something under the quarantine? I mean, so many productions are shut down. What was this process like for you?
The process is not too easy at all because I shot it in July, and we had this regulation in which no more than 5 people can be gathered. So we have to do it, including 2 actors, we have to do it with 5 people maximum. So my co-director, Momo, and I have to be basically crew members ourselves. So she's good with camera. Momo is good with camera. So she will be primarily shooting. And I actually would be just, near the actor with the boom mic and then just, recording that song while, we both were directing. So that's why you probably noticed, we could not really do fancy lighting setup. So so all the lightings are basically the available lights in the hotel room. We were fortunate to get a hotel room that was kind of cheap. So it's within our budget for 1 day. So, and the 2 actors, the 2 actresses, we already have a working relationship since 2 years ago. So yeah, that was quite a challenging experience.
And what is your connection to the deaf community, given that one of the characters is deaf?
Well, like I said, I have to come up with this situation in which somebody cannot communicate with the outside world while if she is put under the quarantine. So she will have to be necessarily deaf. So I previously did not have any experience with deaf community, but I did have to consult with someone who worked with the people with disability on the hard of hearing disability. So I have to do some basic research, but thankfully my script does not require sign language or anything like that. So that's how I have to walk around the situation.
Mm-hmm. And then story-wise, I felt like your film covered so many bases. Like it was a romance, it was a thriller, it was suspenseful. I mean, how would you classify your film?
Very good question. To this day, I have no clue. I basically, write it in a very stream of consciousness kind of way when I, wanted to make this film. So I guess the situation basically kind of like leads me, and I'm primarily a genre filmmaker. So I'm not, so I don't usually do dramatic films, and maybe that's why this suspense, thriller element creeped into the film at the end of the film, I guess. So.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So Naudis, let's talk about 1-1. When I watched it, I felt like I was on a wild ride, like a wild ride of emotions and ups and downs, and I didn't know how things were going to pan out, especially the beginning scene. You open with one of your characters speaking about a dead cousin and then find out she's just joking, or she's not actually too devastated about it, and she breaks out in laughter. So tell me a little bit about, the course of the story.
Well, mm, yeah, that's a tough question. But I mean, it is like you say, it's a roller coaster ride. Like you go through all these emotions and all these things that are happening, and you have no idea where it's gonna lead. And I feel like a lot of the time life is like that. Like you go out on the street, you meet people, you have friends, you like things just happen constantly and you have no idea, like you can't really plan your life.
Yeah.
So I try to capture this in a movie where you get to see everything happening. Someone is making a joke, someone is saying something, like, everyone is playing around, people are playful, people want to like just enjoy their lives and have fun and be their true selves. So going into that, I had to package it somehow, and yeah, that's pretty much the flow.
Absolutely. Yeah, because I felt like there were moments I was sort of like sitting on the edge of my seat, like, is this a dream? Is this all happening? There was one thing I noticed about your film specifically, like such an attention to visuals, the props, sort of the set design, the makeup, the hair, the wardrobe. I felt like everything was like super intentional. Is this right? Like, down to the Barbie dolls and the toy cars. Was everything like had to be that way?
100%.
Yeah.
Like when I created this world, I mean, I'm giving out a piece of my life, and this is how I live. This is like I'm filming it in my own home, and so when I want to give like a little sneak peek out of this world, uh, I just have to have all the details and everything. Like, yeah, the dolls were taped up on the walls, and the pictures were in the background. And in another corner, you'll have like, I don't even know which angles we're gonna shoot if we're doing a montage. So I need to like work 360 degrees constantly. So whenever the camera goes somewhere, there needs to be something there. Something is happening. You can't have a dead corner. So, and I'm like a perfectionist into everything. Like you said, the small props and the details. And I don't know if you noticed the little dog that she has in her hair.
I loved her hair.
Yeah, but did you notice that she had put the dog on her head when when the date was arriving?
I noticed something very ornate. There was like I maybe I did, maybe I didn't. I definitely took note of props being in the hair. I don't know if I identified it immediately.
Okay. So I can just tell you this, the thing about the dog is like, when they're in the apartment, he's like hiding his things and throwing them into this other room because the date is not supposed to go into this room. He's not supposed to see the dolls or the lamb or anything. So when he clears this room and he throws everything, this is supposed to be like a shut part of his life. Like the date is not supposed to see the madness because he doesn't want to scare him away. And then when everything is tidy and he's about to like pick him up from the elevator and they coming in and this whole prank plays out and everything. And then the girl Amira, she has decided to like put this plastic dog in the head. So when they open the door and welcome the guy, she's like, "Oh, hi," and then you see the dog, and that's like already like she's teasing so much. She's like, "Just so you know, there might be madness somewhere." You know what I mean? It's like a little.
And his date was much more open to it than he thought he'd be, wasn't he?
He was. I mean, that's the beauty of it as well. Like, you have someone, you throw someone into a situation and you have no idea how the person is going to react. And I think at first he was probably very startled. He didn't understand, why are you pranking me like this? What's the meaning behind it? Are you being cruel? Am I the joke? Like, because he already like arrived and he was a bit nervous about the sex date, and he has his little backpack on, so he's thinking, oh, I might spend the night. So he's like in his own little mind, and then they open the door and they see the sex prank, and it's like, what the fuck is happening?
I know.
You know?
That's exactly why it's such an adventure that you go on with all of them. One last thing I want to ask you, because you speak about in your director's statement and sort of your biography, the importance and your commitment to showing the intersectionality of someone being Arab and LGBT. So why is this so important for you to show this representation?
I mean, to be honest, like the world as it is today, it's terrible for queer Arabs. In the Middle East, it's like you cannot be a queer Arab in the Middle East. Like there is no safe spaces. You have to like go underground. There is no security net. There is nothing there. And it's almost the same back in the rest of the world. Like wherever queer Arabs are and wherever you have like a family, you always have to be cautious. You always have to like hide who you are. Doesn't matter. Like it's not a common thing within the Arab community, whether you live in Sweden or you live in Iraq or wherever you live. I mean, of course, if you live in Sweden, you have a few privileges that you wouldn't have in the Middle East. But so basically, like my work is to discuss these things and like showing bits and pieces of the different situations and different problems that exist within just being queer and Arab. And I think like the way to communicate that to the world is to do something that is interesting to look at, something that is fun, something that like will engage you and make you happy and make you laugh and make you reach your inner joy. But at the same time, I'm also gonna like sneak in some of these issues and like start showing them slowly in the next short film and the one after, and whatever work I do, like I have to start incorporating it much more. So one was just like the beginning of the joyride, but then, you know, it's gonna evolve.
Yeah, and one thing I found super interesting about 1-1, knowing your background, knowing the type of work you do and would like to continue doing, is I feel like anytime you hear about homosexuality, the LGBT community being portrayed in the Middle East or about Arabs, it's so, it's like supercharged and it becomes automatically a political conversation. And this was anything but. Right? This was showing people living their lives, enjoying their lives. So that was something I would think a really beautiful representation. I want to ask everyone something on a more practical level, because I see a lot of you worked with different institutes, different grants, and I would love to ask for any filmmakers out there who have an idea, have a script they want to produce, don't quite know how to do it. What would be your practical advice and your personal advice? And let's start with Charles.
Practical advice. That's a bit tricky, actually. The thing I'm sure is, as soon as you have an idea and as soon as you have the feeling to shoot, go shooting. No matter the equipment, no matter, but you have to gather the right team. That's the most important, obviously. But you don't need you know, a lot of money to start shooting and then editing and so on. So it's funny because my eldest daughter Salome is having this problem. Like she wants a great camera. She has a lovely script, and I just told her, go shoot, do it.
Yeah.
But and yes, I'm afraid that's the only practical advice I can give, actually.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And what about you, Mia? Because you went through government loopholes on this one. So any sort of practical advice about maybe fundraising or getting the crew in order?
Well, like Charles says, you have to always have this crew ready for you. It could be just a bunch of friends, you know, who can do a lot of things, but it's really, really important for you to always have a band of, you know, like-minded individuals who actually are in the same frequency with you, who will always go with you and who always believe in your vision. So it's very important. And for me, whenever, because you know, we in Burma have to work with a low budget for, you know, low budget all the times. We always have to write the scripts with the budget in mind. You know, this is or because I know, you know, some writers, they really let their imagination go wild, which is great, you know. But and then the problem is you have the script that is physically impossible to shoot with the budget that you have. So you always have to have, you know, this balance between the imagination and the realistic situation. And also another, I mean, quote unquote advantage from you know, for filmmakers in the third world, in the developing countries like Burma, there are a couple of grants available, you know, such as Locarno Film Festival's grant and all these things. So do take advantage of these things. And in fact, some of my friends, you know, they got grants from Locarno and you know, France and Italy and things like that. So definitely look out for all these grants that are available out there.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And notice you had a very interesting process in getting your film ready and funded, didn't you?
I did, yes. I mean, speaking just in general about being a filmmaker and how to maintain being a filmmaker, I mean, it's hard. It's very hard. It's if you want to live on it and you want to do it full time, and I mean, there's so many different ways to go. First of all, either you start doing your own productions, maybe you have your own company, or you don't even have a company and you're trying to make the films, or if you apply to a bigger company who will take you in and they will produce the films, or like everyone's story is so different. For me, I tried to be I tried to work under other companies and collaborate. And for me, it never worked out because I'm very strong-minded. I have my visions. I know exactly how I want things, and I know what I'm writing, and I know what I'm doing, and everything is like based on something, and there's philosophies behind everything. So like going into a company and they try to tell you, do this, do that, it doesn't work for me. Um, so ultimately, I've been like a struggling artist for almost 15 years and just try to make it work, and it's been very difficult. And you get to do like one short film now, and then you wait 6 years until your next break. So basically what's happened is that I started my own company in the end, and it feels so good. I'm so free. I can do whatever I want. I can tell the stories that I want to write and create. And one was a Swedish competition, like a national competition, where the Swedish Film Institute said, we want 5-minute rom-coms that like the whole country get to submit scripts that are 5-minute rom-coms, and they will choose 5 scripts that gets to go to production, and they give you already a sum of money, like 300,000 Swedish, like 30,000 euros. Okay. So they picked 5 films, and I was one of these 5 films. So in that case, I got the money, and I also like had a little bit of limitations that the movie shouldn't be more than 5 minutes. And we're gonna premiere it at Sundsvall's film festival in, say, March 2020. So I had like a certain amount of time as well to make it ready. So basically, from the moment that I got the yes, it was just like working nonstop, working, just go crazy, and like almost a marathon, because there's so little time and there's so much we want to do, and just make it in time for the deadline.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing I loved about this block of films is just showing different lifestyles, different storylines, and different cultures all over the world. I think everybody did a beautiful, beautiful job. And, you know, we would love to know what everyone is planning to do next, or either next steps for you as a filmmaker or next steps for the projects that we saw tonight. So tell us that, and also where they can follow you on social media. We can start with Naudis.
Oh, yeah, well, I'm working on the next short film that is going to follow up. It's called Habib and the Thief. It's a sexy police and thief story between two Arab men. They have like a cute little interaction, and they're flirting. It's very steamy, very cute. But then all of a sudden, like a threat from the Arab world comes in and just destroys their little bubble, their fantasy, everything that they built up. And we get to see how these two Arab men, who has been in almost like a little love fest, they have to like immediately switch into survival mode. Sorry.
It's okay.
They have to switch into survival mode and just help each other out of the problems. That is, they're like put in a dangerous situation with a cab driver who is homophobic and an Arab man, basically. So we get to see how they help each other, and how it ends well, basically. So that's coming up. And then you can follow my work at theuneven.com, the Uneven channel on Instagram, Notice Sager on Instagram. Yeah, you name it.
Excellent. Well, that sounds like a beautiful story, and we can't wait to see it.
Thank you.
Okay, Miyat, what is next for you, and how can people follow your journey?
Well, actually, we means my friends and I. He is supposed to be directing a 1930 style gangster film. And I'm going to be one of the writers for this project. In fact, we are already beginning now. So as soon as the COVID situation is over, we should start the proper, pre-production. But right now we are still writing the scripts. I mean, we are still fine-tuning the scripts right now. So that will be the next immediate project that I will be doing. Actually, I'm in the process of building my own website. It's not coming out yet. So, but of course, I am on Facebook and Instagram under the name Yadno. So you can follow me there.
Excellent. And what about you, Charles?
My next step as a filmmaker is that I'm currently writing a feature script. It's a rom-com. I can give you the pitch, or try to give you the pitch if I don't get lost in English. It's called Ali and Balthazar. So Ali and Balthazar fall in love with each other. Balthazar does not want a lover with an heterosexual past, and Ali is having a hard time ending 15 years of parental and conjugal life with a woman he loved a lot. So to tell or not to tell, that will be the question. So that's for the feature. And you know, when they say that when you start writing a script, it takes at least 5 years before starting shooting. So there will be a lot of time. And before that, you can follow the journey of Solong Paris. There's a website, very simple, but and the address is simple as well. It's solongparis.com.
Excellent, excellent. Well, again, all the films were fantastic and super unique and interesting. So thank you for all your hard work, and I'm sure they will absolutely travel the world and many eyes will see them. So that wraps up tonight's Q&A. Thanks again to the filmmakers, and thank you for watching. You can watch the rest of the festival, which continues through this Sunday, October 11th, by visiting our website, thewildproject.org. And thank you again, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks a
All
million.
right.